Hello everyone, welcome to Four Lads Rangers match reaction. As Kenny and I tried to make sense of another riot over 90 minutes from Rangers, from the ridiculous to the even more ridiculous to brief moments of very good play in the second half when you're simply throwing shit at a wall. Kenny, I've got no idea how we're going to make head nor tail of this, but it's the same pattern that we've followed all season. Can't defend, and we just throw stuff hoping it works. I'm getting a bit pissed off, mate.
I'm bored, Stevie. I'm bored watching this. The only time Rangers look in any way productive is when Russell Martin bins the instruction that he's been telling his players to do. That usually happens after about 65 or 70 minutes. It happened at half-time today. Don't want to be too negative because we're getting accused of that all the time, but I don't know how you can be overly positive about that, to be honest. So I'll leave the positivity for you, I think.
Let's call this though, Kenny. Let's tell people what's happened since last night. We had a few people have a go at us since last night's show and say that we're far too negative and we crave negativity, and we can only talk about what we're seeing. People cancelled memberships and things last night and everything else because they feel we're being too negative. And what we said last night was, if you continue to give away this many chances, we will get beaten. And we go to Graz and nobody feels like we're going to win because we're so open and we're defending like school kids. And that's actually doing school kids a disservice. And that's what we got, and that was the feedback. And what do we do, Kenny? Do we come on and try and polish this and tell everybody it was wonderful, or do we simply tell people the truth of where we feel it is? You can't defend that level of defending in the first half and think that we can then come on here and say, yeah, they're very well coached and it's coming and we're getting there and everything else. It's a load of bollocks.
We were lucky it was only 2-0 at half time, Stevie. Some of the defending was so bad that your local amateur team would be rollicking at you for this kind of stuff. The second goal kind of epitomises everything that's wrong with us. One pass from a set piece. How easy can you get? I mean, I just don't know what to say about this, actually, apart from, for me, it's not good enough. He's been in charge for 16 games, Stevie. Tonight, I called this last night. I said we just don't have enough about us to keep wins out of close, never mind keep clean sheets. We huffed and puffed in the second half. You're right. We did do some nice things in the second half. We really come out in the second half for 20 minutes flying, but we kind of petered out because they got to grips with it, I thought. You can't sugarcoat this, Stevie. He's been in charge for 16 games. He's won 5 of them. He's lost 6 of them. With a goal difference of -3. We're scoring just over 1 goal per game. You don't win games like that if you can't keep clean sheets. That's the situation. We can't keep clean sheets, Stevie, and we're scoring just over 1 a game. Now, how on earth are we going to win games with this kind of situation? That's where I am with it.
It's where every supporter is with it. Let's try and go through it, Kenny. The game starts and we don't have to wait for long before a defensive nightmare happens. It comes from our throw. I remember joking about this with you back in the Panathinaikos game when I was saying that Panathinaikos were at the most dangerous when Rangers had a throw-in or a goal kick. And sure enough, I had not far looked away from Tav taking the goal kick, the throw-in, to 3 seconds later, Graz scoring a goal. What do you say? Like, everybody stops. McComa's out of position. Suter's out of position. Cornelius doesn't react. Tav throws it straight to the boy who, like, go. If you're going to go down the line, you need to go down the line. He throws it inside, and it's just like, I sound exasperated because I am. It's levels of pish that we've never, well, I'd say never seen before, but to quote Russell Martin, we're not going to concede goals like that again. No, we're finding new ways to do it. You can't defend that. It's amateur level stuff, and even then, that's doing a disservice to amateur football, Kenny. It's so bad.
It is. The first goal is pathetic. That you have a throw in your own 18, adjacent to your own 18-yard line, and as you say, I'm going to say this. He's taken exception to the idea that people, or you in particular, have said that they don't look coached. Nobody's going to look at that goal and say that they look coached in any way, shape, or form. Nobody that watches football can say they are, because that's something you drill into a team while you're coaching. When you're in that situation, this is what you do. And the two centre halves, John Souttar has got to come over. When he doesn't, Cornelius has got to come over with him. You've got to close down the space. They just don't do it. And yeah, you're 1-0 down. You're, what was it? I don't know, 7 minutes in or something like that, if I remember right, Stevie. You're up against it right away. The sad thing for me is I don't think they're a good side at all. I think they're even worse than Genk were last week. And we're now, for me personally, it's got to take a miracle for us to finish in the playoff places. But on that goal, I just feel the lack of concentration, the lack of organisation, the lack of taking responsibility, all these things are just apparent, Stevie. And the sad thing about it for me is that it's happening all the time. It's happening every single game. You're seeing stuff like this.
Yeah, 12 minutes were carved open again when Rangers' apparent will to just allow the opponent to waltz into the box becomes apparent again. Butland saves it down at the near post, and then we fashion something. Chermiti has a header off the bar, and Gassama again a couple of minutes later. Good work, Chermiti with a flick. And you're thinking, okay, the big guy was causing issues as such, but it doesn't materialise into any sort of pressure. We don't, again, it's difficult to describe unless you've lived this and watched this, how open we were at the back. So every time Graz went forward, they got chances. Butland saves down low in the 30th minute. Rangers wide open again, the left-hand side. Mighoma, Kenny, tonight had a difficult night, to say the least. I mean, they all did at the back. Souttar looked, positionally and things, he's getting shown up. I'll continue to say it, and people will maybe say he's good when he has to make a last-ditch challenge. There was one across the face of the box in the first half. He makes a last-ditch challenge and he does well, and it's like last-ditch defending he can do positionally in that. And you seen it on Sunday where he lost his man. I think he struggles. Backline, we're wide open. There's no protection either. There's absolutely no protection from the midfield. We talked about a spine of the team and needing to address that situation. It's clear as day they haven't. And then, it suddenly quickly becomes 2-0. And my word, we sat and listened to Torsten Frink last week say runners from deep. We set up what can only be described as a kamikaze line for that set piece. And they're all right over to one side. So it's just a simple straight pass. And then the boy runs from deep round. He's miles onside, and he taps it in. And it's almost like he's embarrassed to celebrate, Kenny. He barely celebrates a European goal. It's like he kind of just, it's like the most simple training ground move you will ever see. I can't describe how bad that was. And we thought the first one was bad. It's like they go, hold my beer, we'll do it again.
Yeah, the second goal kind of sums us up, Stevie, that we're just not structured properly at all. You've mentioned, the midfield not giving protection. the gaps between the three compartments of the team are massive. They're massive, Stevie. And as I will reiterate again, the only time that anything productive comes from us is when he bins what he's trying to do. He just throws it in the bin and, as you say, throws mud at a wall. That's what happened in the second half. And to be fair, there was some decent performances in the second half, but the first goal kind of, you go, oh my goodness, the second one, you just go, oh no, you've got to be kidding. That is unforgivable. It is genuinely unforgivable, Stevie. If you lost that, now I've not played football for a long time, but I played amateur football, and if I lost that and didn't track my running like that, you would get absolute pelters off your teammates. And the line is so high, it is nutty, actually. It's insane.
Well, you heard me ask him about it last week, Kenny. I believe now that last week was the third time that I'd asked Russell Martin, was he concerned about the amount of chances we're giving away? Does he feel it's tactical or is it individual? And he said straight away it's all down to individual errors, which, okay, fine, if that's the way he sees it. You're 2-0 down at half time, Kenny. We have to discuss the individual performance of the players. Ant-Man, dear, Meg Homa, really poor. Defensively, I thought the midfield, I thought Raskin and Barron were miles out of it in the first half. Raskin was excellent in the second half, I must admit. But at that point, you are literally throwing shit at a wall to try and get back in the game. But first half, we were miles off it. Ant-Man offered nothing. Gassama was the shining light again on the left-hand side. Chermiti, I thought, was fine. Like, I know people are going to point to that, but what can you do with limited service? He had 3 efforts in the first half, which was an improvement. And Christ, I'm clutching even saying that. But there's too many individual performances, Kenny, that, the 2 that came off, Meg Homa and Ant-Man, were well deserved. But overall, as a performance in the first half, that was 2-0, possibly going on 4 or 5 again. And that's just, when you do that, you're always going to be chasing, and you're always going to, I don't even know how to articulate it, Kenny, because we said you keep giving up that number of chances, we will get beat tonight. And that's exactly how it played out. The first half did all the damage.
Yeah, the game was as good as over at half time because, yeah, that was 2-0, but it could have been more, as you say. There was no doubt it could have been more. And some of the defending, even offhand, I'm not going to point to individual situations, but some of the catastrophic defending at times is just mind-boggling. And again, I'll go back to this and say you cannot give this amount of opportunities to any team when you're not scoring the amount of goals that you need to score. I said last night, Stevie, we'll need to score 2, 3, 4 goals every single game to try and win games, because tonight it would have been 3 to win the game. And that's only because I thought Jack Butland had a cracking game in terms of shot stopping. I thought he was excellent. He's had 3 or 4 really good saves where it could have been much, much more. And the one thing I will say, I'll take that. I'll agree with you. I actually thought that the big boy Chermiti was okay tonight. I didn't think he was brilliant or anything like that, before people go nuts about that as well. But I thought he was all right. I actually thought he did quite well with the little amount of ball that he got. So if anybody's looking for positives from me, I'll say Gassama, Raskin in the second half, and I thought Chermiti was okay. There wasn't huge amounts to take from it, but the first half is just, it's epitomising everything that's going wrong, Stevie. It is. It just epitomises where we are as a football team. And I've said this already, maybe privately, maybe not so much on here. We will have this all season. This is the way we are going to be unless this guy goes.
The question was just asked there in the chat, and there's so many comments are coming in at a rate of knots, I can't keep up with them. It was asked, well, would another manager get better out of this? And you never know, because that's hypothetical, but I'm pretty sure he would have them defensively set up better than what we are, which gives us a step to a hint. And also, I fail to believe that we are as poor as we've been in attack previously. Because tonight, I thought we were better. I mean, we did create opportunities. But again, Kenny, this is because in the second half, McComa comes off, Cornelius goes to left back, Aarons goes to right, Tav goes to centre back alongside Suter. I think Graz take their foot off the gas massively. Rangers find their way back in, and they do score an excellent goal. It's brilliant by Raskin in the middle, plays it out quickly to Gassama, and he cuts in and unleashes a wonderful shot. Goalie can't keep it out, and Rangers are back in it. And it's, we've spoke about Gassama being the only one that's looked slightly better, and kind of doing well. He's proven it again. I thought he was good tonight. He does have moments. Look, he's a young kid. He's going to have moments where he blazes one or he falls over the ball or whatever. But he's the only one in that team that's looking positive. Because I will talk about Tello Asgard, who is flattering to deceive massively in midfield. And I gave him such a good write-up because when he was training, he looked like the one. And we were all quite positive about that. But he is flatter to deceive, and he's not taking shots. He's not getting involved. He's not. It's all. I'm not going to say he's hiding in plain sight, but he's very safe. He's very passive, and that isn't affecting their game at all. But Gassama tonight scores a goal, Kenny, and he is. It was a good moment, at least.
He was the one shining light for me tonight. That he had a cracking game, and he kind of terrorised their right back. But the goal itself is a fantastic goal, as you say. Nico Raskin does really well, and it's a tremendous strike. I think the keeper's slightly unsighted, so he's beaten quite easily. He's near post, whereas I think if he sees it properly, he won't let it go past him. But it's a fine strike, and I thought Cornelius going to, I think it was left back, but it was kind of, I'm not quite sure where he was playing, but it seemed to be left back at most of the time. He was very good, actually, in the second half, I thought, personally. But yeah, listen, for me, getting the goal when we did kind of put them very much on their heels, I thought, and kind of, phased them quite a lot. And as I think I've said to you before we come on, I think we had 15, 20 minutes where we really did get right on top of them, and we played some nice football, and then it kind of petered out a wee bit for me. That's the issue I have. But yeah, Gassama, I think this is what I'll say about this. When you're saying about would a manager get better out of these players? Well, we don't know with some of the new players because we haven't seen much from them. But I genuinely do believe that we would get more out of them with somebody.
Would we have beaten Genk and Graz under Philip Clement?
Yes. I
gave Philip Clement it really tight because I genuinely believe that, well, we were heading to where we were under Philip Clement. He would have got 2 results.
Stevie, I heard earlier on he had 16 games in Europe and he only lost 4 of them. This guy's lost 5 in a bounce.
So the second half continues and Rangers are pressing without doing much. I think that's fair. It's kind of end to end. 76 minutes, it comes a double chance. Cornelius, good save by the keeper down low. John Suter header, which he kind of pushes away to the left-hand side. And by that point, it becomes wide open, Kenny, because we started to make changes. Mikey Moore comes on. We're at this point throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. And ironically, with so many strikers on and stuff, we do begin to look like we could cause them issues. But we're equally wide open. Butland has to make a good save on 79 and then 82, as well as making a double save right at the end on 90 minutes as well. Rangers go up the other side and there's, Danilo has a shot that he's snatched at a wee bit. Just at least it's a shot, I suppose. But aside of that, I think we talk about Chermiti maybe having a daisy cutter shot round about 60 odd minutes as well. But there was nothing really that springs to mind. There was a lot of ball possession without any kind of killer instinct. You're relying a lot on Gassama, who obviously is tiring and things like that. Mikey Moore, well, a wee injection when he came on, but not really being able to create much in the end. At the end, it really was. Lee Suter was up at the end, Butland was up at the end, and you were just desperately trying to get something. But, I admire and I will praise the effort in the second half, but bloody hell, man, it's surely the minimum we can accept from the team is a wee bit of effort and a wee bit of heart. So, and trying to keep positive, at least we've seen that in the second half. But if you do that in the first, game's gone.
It can't be forgotten here, mate, with all respect to our opponents, it's Sturm Graz you're playing. Over the years, certainly over the last 5 or 6 years, Stevie, we would have dispatched this team quite comfortably. And as I said already, I didn't think we were going. I thought we were going to lose today. That's the problem I have, Stevie. And I'm already, for all that, it becomes that game of basketball in that last 20 minutes or so, because we are so open and we're throwing everything at it, that I'm bored of watching that, because I'm watching it every week already. It's becoming tedious.
I don't find myself getting angry when I watch the goals. It's like I went and put on socials. It's like, what is the point? There's no point in getting angry when you see that, because that is what we're producing all the time now.
We're getting numb to this. This is what I mean. When you're averaging less than one win in 3 games, and it's less than that, then, as I say, people can complain about me all they want. This is what we're going to get. And we are going to get this all season unless there's a change made. And again, as I say, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I just don't understand why it's taking everything that our head coach is doing to be literally ripped up and thrown in the bin for Rangers to start looking as if they might score goals. Because that's what's happening every single game we play.
Thanks to William Graham for the donation. We will go back to that maybe a wee bit at the end. I'm going to talk about Russell Martin's press conference comments. Some of the guys are sending us some notes. Can't start poorly. They had too many chances. Mentality is a problem. Loads of chances in first half and more dominant in second half. Gave up chances in first half from set play, not from open play. It's a mentality. It's not a tactical problem. Again, Kenny, from last week, we discussed this. We asked them directly. We should score a couple of goals. It's an interesting times and frustrating times. That's basically the long and short of it. We haven't seen it. We're obviously live. We haven't seen what he said, but a mentality issue. I keep seeing that in the comments. People saying it's a mentality. If it's not tactics, Kenny, right? Then let's accept that. If it's not tactics, why are we doing it week in, week out? And if it's not a tactical thing, why hasn't he addressed it and fixed it? Because if it's individuals doing things and it's not how he's setting them up, surely he should be able to address it. Because if it's just individual mistakes, you make changes or you do whatever. I don't even know if he believes what he's telling us at this point.
It's bullshit. And the reason I'll tell you it's bullshit is because I'll point you to what we've already discussed. Look at the first goal. That's got bugger all to do with mentality. Look at the second goal. Show me where the mentality issue is in that second goal. It's not a mentality issue. It's the way you're setting them up. The second goal. It's the way they have been set up, Stevie. They have been told to do that. There is no team in the land that's going to set up a line that high unless you're told to. Defensively for a free kick. They're not. So it's a tactic issue. Whether he likes it or not, whether he agrees with it or not, there is nobody that's ever played football is going to turn around and look at that and say, yeah, that's a mentality issue, that second goal. It isn't. It's the way you've set them up, which means it's a tactical issue. And this is actually getting me. As I say, I'm getting bored watching Rangers. That's the first time I think I've ever said that in my life, Stevie. I'm getting bored watching this team. I'm getting numb to the pain of watching us concede goal after goal that is becoming more comical by the week. Stupid, ridiculous goals to lose, like the 2 we've lost tonight. And then for a manager or a head coach to come in there and turn and say, it's not the tactics, it's a problem. It's individual errors and it's mentality. Whose mentality? Because if it's the player's mentality, then whose responsibility is that to sign players with the right mentality to go and play at this level of football? Because we're sitting 32nd out of 36 teams in a Europa League that we finished in the top 8 of last year, that we didn't spend any money on. A team, a squad, we didn't spend any money on it. So
I'm really hoping I'm really hoping, Kenny, this is the actual club that have sent this in. He's trying to
I think he
gaslight
probably is.
I don't really know what else to say. I don't want to turn this into a show where we again talk about Russell Martin and we talk about what seems like an almost inevitable decision, which will come at some point. How much more we have to go through, I'm really not sure. Guys, what's it going to take to see the back of Russell Martin? I don't think we can take any more. We are so poor to watch, struggle against average sides. This isn't a I told you so, and please don't think it is. But I spoke about all summer about the fact that they will not bin him, that they will double down, and all the noises we were hearing is that they will back this man no matter what. This isn't an anti-Russell Martin podcast. This is a pro Rangers podcast, and it's trying to support the team and support the team that we've supported for many years. And what will it take to bin him? It's $1 million question. What are we now? We're 5 wins in 17, I believe. Is it 5 wins in 17, 6 defeats and 6 draws? We're 8th in the league. We're sitting more or less rock bottom in Europe. What's it going to take? If it hasn't happened by now and they're still doubling down on him and still allowing Kevin Thelwell to make decisions that we question, then I don't honestly know. I don't think, even if we went to Falkirk and didn't win that game on Sunday, that they're going to change their mind. They seem so rooted into this decision and backing it no matter what, which is dangerous. And I understand football fans cannot run football clubs. I get it. I completely get it. But this isn't about Russell Martin. This is about the wrong decision being made and being so stubborn that they won't change it. And that is wrong. Any manager with this record and this start at Rangers Football Club would be under pressure, and we would be wanting change. So this isn't a Russell Martin thing for me. This is a situation thing, Kenny. What's it going to take to get him out? I really, really don't know.
I have no clue what it's going to take for the owners of this board to kind of get that light bulb moment and understand that they've made a mistake, a monumental error. I don't know. But at this rate, Stevie, I can see there being 15,000 at Ibrox in the near future. More and more people, season ticket holders, are not going to go to watch this. They're not, Stevie. It's coming up to Christmas shortly, and you know what it's. Everybody knows what it's like. You end up, people are nipping at you. You've got things to do. And people are going to turn and say, do you know what? We'll do it on Saturday. It'll give me the Sunday off, and we'll do it on the Sunday because I can't be bothered. And that's where it's getting. And frankly, what it's going to take, I don't know. But I'll point to what you've said there about any manager being under pressure. I can say that at any point in my life, any manager with this kind of record would be under pressure without a shadow of a doubt at Rangers Football Club. And the very fact that these people are doubling down on this is a big, big concern, because what is it going to take then? Because I genuinely have no idea what it is that it's going to, tip this over the edge, because it doesn't look as if anything is going to tip it over the edge.
Yeah, anything other than a win against Falkirk and he goes, as some of the comments we're seeing now. I don't think it even matters on Sunday. Russell Martin should be out of a Rangers job. If this is our standard now, and we are prepared to accept the level of absolute dross that we're getting put and served up on a weekly basis, with the odd outlier and the odd 20 minutes here, there, and everywhere, then I don't even know what else to say. Do you know? It's difficult, Kenny, to do a podcast like this tonight, because we've been beaten 2-1, and people, over time might begin to say the second half was better, and we at least created some chances, at least we had more shots on target, etc., etc., etc. The bottom line is the first half was horrendous. It could have easily been 4-5-0 at half time, and this is a recurring theme. I cannot by good conscience, come onto this podcast and try and shine this up for people and try and, you know, polish the proverbial. I'm not going to do it because I won't allow myself to do it. The Rangers I grew up watching and the standards that we set ourselves are so miles apart from what it is now. I'm going to continue to ask this guy the questions if I can in press conferences when I'm there. I'm going to try and ask him about tactics and being coached and everything else. And I know he didn't like that, and I get it. See, when you watch a first half like tonight, and I'm not as eloquent as a journalist might have put it or somebody else might have put it when I say we do not look coached. We do not look coached to a normal person like me when you see that set up in the first half. So maybe he will understand that from a supporter's point of view when I say things like that to him. But when we do things like that in the first half, it's pretty obvious why we're so exasperated. Cannot in good faith come in here, Kenny, on a night like tonight and tell everybody that we were unlucky and it was wonderful. And if, you know, that was, you know, if the header's a bit lower and if this happens and if that happens, it doesn't work. Any manager with this kind of record should be under scrutiny, and so should Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart, who put him there.
Yeah, and if people want positivity, I will say the second half was vastly improved on the first half, because it was much better, and we got effort, we got commitment, we got drive, we got a little bit of imagination in our play. We got all the things that we didn't see in the first half. However, it petered out really quite quickly for me. If you actually watch it back, I would imagine most folk do. And the reason I'm saying that is because I was taking notes for this, and there was about 20 minutes where there was nothing in the notes. I was like, well, nothing's happened in either box for about 20 minutes here, really. You know, there's a couple of crosses, there's a couple of half chances or half efforts or poor efforts, whatever, and that was it. So, yeah, we can't. I'm never going to come on and not be myself on this podcast, Stevie. So, if people don't like it, then I'm sorry, but I'll just say it as it is. I can't pretend or lie to anybody ever. It's not a thing I ever do. So to me, this is just dog shit, mate. This is what I'm watching is rubbish. And I just don't believe for a minute that it's going to get any better. This guy is going to need a magic wand to turn this around, unless, as I say, or as I said yesterday, unless they've just decided that what they are doing is writing off this season. It doesn't matter what happens at all, and they're giving him a year to try and implement and embed everything that he wants to do. And God help us if that's the case. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, listen, another difficult podcast, folks. An insane amount of people watching it live, which will be other people from other clubs and all that. I get it, reveling in what is our pain. I'm not really interested in what happened to other clubs. My own is pretty much all I'm thinking about this moment in time. Difficult podcast. We tried our very best. I don't know how you're supposed to try and make sense of this. I don't know how you're supposed to try and talk it up. I don't know how you're supposed to try and talk about what we watched in that first half. Another game, as I said, would easily could have been 4-5-0 at half time, and that is a dangerous statement in itself. Thank you for everybody that's watched. Thank you for everyone that has been in the comments. A huge amount of you signed up tonight to be part of the podcast and supporters on membership, which we really appreciate. All we try and do is tell you the way we think. It doesn't mean we're right. It doesn't mean that our opinion holds any more gravitas than anybody else. We're just normal match-going fans. We happen to be in a privileged position, which we try our very, very best to try and do the best things possible for the support. We don't speak for anybody, but we do try our very best. Thank you, everybody, genuinely, for watching us. Kenny, thank you, mate. I appreciate you coming on as ever. Long-suffering pair that we are. Jack and Victor, very fast turning into it.
It made me go bald, mate, this season. Is terrible. But look, we've had 3 of these after matches in Europe that have been absolutely horrendous. With the Pilsen one away, if I remember right, we've had the Bruges and we've had this one. And anybody that podcasts will know what we're saying. We have no idea what to say with this without being as negative as we have been, and we never want to come on here and just throw mud at this, But as I say, Stevie, we're not going to sit here and tell lies. We're not going to sit here and just gloss over all this nonsense, because it is nonsense. And 5 European defeats in the bounce, mate, I just find that ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous when you consider the quality of opponent we're playing.
Yeah, another difficult evening. As I said, thanks for everyone that supports us. If you want to join, there is a QR code in the top right corner. Just scan that. You can go straight to our join page for as little as 99p a month. It gets you a few additional things. Interviews with the likes of Kamar Roof, Gordon Smith, I think online. We have more lined up, which we're trying very hard to do. We always try and bring some new things to you, Coach's Corner, Book Club, all that kind of stuff. First and Favourites, which is your member show. If you want to come on, 4 lads, please do. We may have very well a guest vlog. There's a couple of people that we know over in Graz at the moment. They were sending some very good vlog footage, so we might be able to put something together and put that out later as well. As for our sponsors, thank you so much to Rhino Express, Clydeview, Fire Extinguisher and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, and our partners, Black Rooster, are of gold. Final thoughts from me. I won't bore you too long. Simply say this is not the standard of Rangers Football Club that I'm willing to accept or put up with or was even brought up with. This is not acceptable from top to bottom. No manager, no coaching staff, no director of football, no board should be out with scrutiny for what we're currently watching and the results we're getting, and more importantly, the performance levels we're getting. I'll continue to say it as much as I might have no patience, and as much as people might say I'm overreacting and reacting too soon. This is embarrassing for Rangers Football Club to be in this position. Russell Martin needs to leave his job as quickly as possible, but it shouldn't stop there, and the light should continue to be shone above him on Kevin Thelwell and in particular Patrick Stewart. I wouldn't leave him out of anything, folks. As for us, we'll be back tomorrow night. The show will go live at 7 o'clock, joined by Cheryl and Andy. Please join us for therapy, if not anything else. As for me, thanks for joining us tonight. Take care on behalf of Kenny and I. Continue to say it. Russell Martin out. Have a good night.
The 4 Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.